Sync. Hey, welcome to the Coli YouTube channel. I'm Lewis. This is my first video in a vlog kind of style, so it might be a bit to be honest, but I mean, you know, everyone's got to start somewhere. On this channel, I'm gonna try explain the world through a vegan lens, because a lot of people don't like vegans, and I think that's partially because a lot of people don't really understand where we're coming from. But anyway, on to the topic of the video. Okay, two subjects that British people get pretty heated over are fox hunting and the Yulin dog meat festival. Side note, if you're one of those people who says, well, I'm not pro fox hunting, but I am pro fox control. One, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe you too much. I think it's just a more socially acceptable way of saying that you're pro a bit of fox hunting. And two, if you're in favour of fox control, boy, do I have an invention that will blow your mind. Okay, but back to the subject at hand. The RSPCA reports that roughly 80% of Brits are against fox hunting with hounds, citing the reasons that it is cruel, as the foxes die a slow death, they're often disemboweled before they die, and that's contrary to what the fox hunters say, but you know, can you really trust fox hunters with fox welfare? And that it's unnecessary, it's a blood sport. Now, seeing as only 2% of Britain are vegans, best case scenario, 78% of Brits are hypocrites, or at least acting in a way that is hypocritical. Brits. Now let me explain why I think that's the case before you get too upset. There are two reasons that Brits gave in regards to why they're against fox hunting can be simplified into it's cruel and it's unnecessary. I think you'd have a hard time arguing that debeaking, dehorning, castrating, pulling out teeth, and basically throwing baby chicks into what is essentially a blender isn't cruel. There was even a ruling recently by the Advertising Standards Agency that defended an advert by Go Vegan World calling dairy inhumane. The American Dietetic Association also holds the position that vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits in the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. Which means whilst you may enjoy eating animal products, you don't need to. You can be healthy and healthful, and that means it's unnecessary. But I'll make another video about that later. Now the second thing that gets British people pretty upset is the Yulin dog meat festival. And there was a video that blew up recently of a dog being boiled alive for the festival. And there's always big marches here that oppose the festival, and I agree with them. But again, there are some pretty direct parallels to be drawn between the Yulin Dog Meat Festival and the British animal agriculture industry. In regards to the viral video of the dog being boiled alive, whilst it's awful, it's really not too dissimilar to how we slaughter chickens here in the UK. In the UK, we often slaughter chickens by putting them on a conveyor belt and dipping their heads into a pool of water which has electricity being run through it. And then after that happens, they have their throats cut. And would you call it humane to throw a toaster into someone's bath and then stab them in the neck? Here in the UK, a lot of pigs are slaughtered by having their throat cut, but after that, they are put into a pool of boiling water, which softens their skin and gets rid of any bristles. However, the pigs don't always die from having their throat cut in time. They're often put into the boiling water before they are actually dead. And what happens is that the slaughterhouse workers don't even know if the pig died from bleeding out or from being drowning alive in boiling water. And people often say that dogs are pets and that pigs are bred to be eaten. And even when I was a meat eater, this argument didn't really sit well with me. We all have the capacity to feel pain, and it doesn't matter what those with power over us intend for our lives. Those chickens and those pigs, they feel pain the same way that those dogs do, the same way that we do. And it doesn't make their deaths any less tragic that they were born into a system where they ultimately died because of consumer demand. Also, I think that makes their deaths more tragic. Imagine hearing a story of two people who had kids and then kept them in a shed until they were 6, and then when they were 6, they killed them. Those parents would, rightly so, be labelled as evil because it's an awful thing to do to rob somebody of their life, for you to exploit them for your own personal gain. I think what it largely comes down to is that dogs and foxes are cute, and it's not necessarily in our culture to kill and exploit them. But I think that's a pretty awful measure of somebody's worth. Those who are cute shouldn't be seen with more inherent value than those who are not. It's just a pretty bizarre way to measure the worth of somebody. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. If you agreed with me, or you disagreed with me, or I at least made you see something in a light that you hadn't seen it before, please let me know in the comment section. Or if you're more subtle than that, you can leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I promise I won't let this be one of those channels where I just upload once and then just never try ever again. So yeah, I'll talk to you next time.